So I'm back with another video that's about to make people mad once again, but it is what it is. We need to talk about this because nobody else is talking about it. And my biggest problem is that Black people, we sit up here, everybody want to talk about Lil Durk, Diddy being locked up, Pooh Shiesty just getting out, Glorilla. Like, Black people sit around and talk about the most dumbest and irrelevant things that there is when there's real things going on in the world, especially with Black people. We don't have the time to sit around talking about and worrying about what these dumb celebrities doing. I could see if it was a celebrity that was actually changing the world or trying to do something or making Black people look good in a positive light. Black Black people, per usual, is worried about criminals and criminals being released and what criminals doing. Fitting into the stereotype, like I always say, that Black people support criminals more than they do college educated people. You get more love when you coming out of prison than you graduate from college. Black people try to act like this is not true, but we see it all the time. I didn't see like 15 posts about Pooh Shiesty getting out of jail. Another nigga that just talk about violence and the stereotypical Black stuff. And Black people, y'all worried they're talking about him when there's real stuff going on, like what I'm about to talk about. So getting into the numbers, I don't even know how I even got on this subject or thought to bring this up, but nonetheless, I stumbled upon this. So I want to bring the numbers up first. I want to pull it up for y'all. So y'all don't think that I'm just making shit up for real. So let's take a look. So evictions by race. Black renters have significantly higher eviction rates compared to other racial groups in the U.S., while Asian renters have the lowest rates. Hispanic renters' eviction rates are often similar to white renters' rates. Factors contributing to these disparities include racial discrimination, indirect discrimination from landlords, social economic instability, and the compounding risk faced by households with children, particularly Black women who are disproportionately affected. Black renters face disproportionately high eviction rates and risks. They make up a small portion of the renter population, but account for over half of eviction filings. Uh, where's the numbers at? There we go. Black renters made up 18% of the national renter population, but accounted for 51% of eviction filings and 43% of evictions. Roughly 1 in 5 Black adult renters were threatened with eviction annually, and 1 in 10 were evicted. White renters made up just over 50% of the renter population, but accounted for only 26% of eviction filings and 32% of evictions. On average, 1 in 24 white adult renters was threatened with eviction annually, and 1 in 40 was evicted. Hispanic renters saw eviction rates closer to white people. Asian renters consistently had the lowest eviction filing and eviction rates. Black women renters with children face the highest risk of eviction filings of any race and gender group, with the average annual filing of 28%. Between 2007 and 2016, 12.4% of Black children under the age of 5 were evicted each year. So, and then these are their reasons that this is. Of course, they're about to give you the liberal, the making excuse reasons. I'm gonna give you the real reasons, but it says historical policy, centuries of racist policies such as redlining and discriminatory credit practices have undermined wealth building in Black communities, contributing to the racial wealth and pay gaps. Black women face one of the largest wage gaps of any demographic group and are more likely to be primary household earners, which makes it harder to build financial security nets to protect against job loss. They got at least one point right here. Some landlords have been found to file eviction cases against minority tenants for less back rent than they tolerate from white tenants, based on the assumption that doing so is more likely to lead to a successful outcome. Formal court data may not capture undocumented immigrants and other groups who are disproportionately subjected to illegal and formal evictions outside the court system. So, no, the migrants, they don't have to go through the court system because they're here illegally. But so let's talk about it. So, uh, so let's talk about the reasons that they gave. So they said historical policies, centuries of racist policies such as redlining and discriminatory practices have undermined wealth building in Black communities. So they're going with which most Black people who watching this video gonna say it's racism, it's discrimination. I don't know how discrimination makes you not pay your rent. In order for this to be accurate, that would mean that Black people is paying their rent and still getting evicted. If you not if you paying your rent, how is there discrimination? The only discrimination would come in terms of getting a place. Now, if they was discriminating against you when it comes to actually being able to get a place, then okay, that makes sense. But we know that that's not true. Black people are able to find houses and get housing, they just not able to keep it. And then when they always talk about historical things, yes, this could be true in the past why Black people was evicted or not getting into places. What do that have to do with now? Just like I said before in another video, would happen, people like to always go to slavery and racism, nothing that have to do with what's going on in 2025. Why is it in 2025 Black people, or even since 2000, 2020, why is it now that this is happening? Not historically, not what happened 50, 60, 7 years ago, 70 years ago. Now I say income equality. Black women face the largest wage gaps, and are more likely to be primary household earners. And this is getting to the single mother thing. So this is the real reason, and of course the only non-excuse reason that they gonna give, what they didn't even give the reason of why that is. But basically, single mother household, we know that Black women is number one in single mothers, number one head of households than any other race. So what does that mean? That they have one income households, majority of Black people, because it's just the mother in the household. And I always say this, that's why single mother households don't work, because the mother is trying to work to take care of the kid, but then she's not able to watch the kid. So the kid is basically being raised by herself in the hood. Because like I said, if you have your kid in the hood, you put them in an environment and they're around ignorance and violence and all of this stuff, and it's crazy for you to think that they not going to become a part of that when you always at work trying to pay the bills. So that's the main reason, is that it's hard to do everything with a one income household, especially now. Everybody know about the economy and everything. So trying to raise kids, and then some of these Black women have two, three kids, multiple baby daddies, and still doing it on their own. That's a recipe for poverty and eviction. So we're gonna say, why is that? Like I always said before, that's why I'm not giving no excuses. Unless you could tell me that racism and other races and people is making Black women open their legs to the wrong men, unless you could tell me that, there's no excuse for this. Black women choose who they want to let sleep with them. We always say it, like I always say, the stereotypes exist for a reason, and people don't ever want to give it to the stereotype, but the numbers support the stereotypes. We already know. Black people that said this before. Me as a black person who's not a Pookie or Ray Ray, we know this. Black women pursue the thugs, criminals, drug dealers, the nerd, the dude that's working a 9 to 5, the dude who's gonna be a great father. He's lame. Black women don't find him attractive. Majority of the time, we know this. Black women sit up here and, like I said earlier, support Pooh Shiesty, Lil Durk, Glorilla, Sexy Red, all of this ignorance. And Sexy Red and Glorilla tell them, get you a hood dude, get you a dreadhead. And y'all do that, and then y'all end up becoming single mothers just like Sexy Red is, but without the money. At least Sexy Red getting a little bit of money now. But before rap and before she had y'all dummies buying her records, she would have been getting evicted, living in Section 8 homes, just like y'all. So it's crazy that y'all sit up here and support these people that's leading y'all to poverty for real. Because like I said, it's no coincidence that y'all listen to all of these ignorant female rappers telling y'all to do ignorant stuff and be hoes, which leads y'all to be single mothers, which leads y'all to be in poverty, which leading y'all to being evicted. It's really that simple. Like I said before, nobody's making y'all open y'all legs to these horrible men. And like I said in my previous video about will the black community ever get better? Like I said, I don't blame women for being a gold digger if you have to. At least, like the bare minimum, the relationship might not work. He might be a horrible father, but you should be at least making sure that you able to take care of your kid, get child support, or at least get a man that's gonna take care of his kid, so you not raising your kid in poverty, facing eviction, about to have you and your kid on the street. Y'all have to worry about that because y'all sitting up here getting pregnant by drug dealers who don't have a steady income. You can't get child support from a drug dealer, dummy. And other dudes who scamming and doing a bunch of other illegal things that's not documented, so you can't get no money from them. So that's the reason behind this for the most part. Now, what else? So it says that landlords file evictions quicker with black tenants than white tenants. That could be true. And you could say that that's racism, and part it is, but you, like I said, people don't never want to put themselves in other people's shoes, especially black people and white people's shoes. If I know that there's less chance of a black person recovering, because I know from landlords, from talking to landlords, being the landlord, everything, that the landlord don't want the rent to keep racking up to where they know that you can't recover from it. That's why a lot of landlords file eviction quick, like after a month or two, versus like trying to work with you, because they know once you get behind 2, 3, 4 months in rent, they know that it's going to be impossible for you to recover, because then you still got rent that's ongoing. So not only have you have to pay your rent that you behind thousands, you got to still pay the rent that's coming up, and they know that that's almost impossible for you to do for real. Now, some of it can be racism, looking like, okay, we know that black people, the poorest group, and all of the ignorant and bad things that comes along with black people, so they probably is less likely to uh be lenient when it comes to black tenants than white tenants. But then this also come down to is that why isn't there more black homeowners that's renting to black people? Why is it that all of the homeowners is white or Asian or Chaldean? Why isn't there more black owners in there? Because there's black people with money. And this is what I'll be saying. Y'all love these dumbass celebrities and rappers and stuff when they don't do nothing. Y'all make these people rich and they don't do nothing. That's why I hate when people say, you can't tell nobody what to do with their money. So what if they want to buy chains and stuff? Okay, then don't get mad when you got to go to a white person to get a house, or an Asian person to get a house versus a black person then. Don't complain about it. Because if you would have put responsibility on the black person that you made rich to do something, like at least own a house, give a housing or something, you wouldn't have to worry about that. That's what the problem is. It's like I said before, the biggest thing that comes along with this is just intelligence and just the ignorance of the black community that's being dumb and ignorant. Like everything is just stupid, like backwards. Like I don't understand why critical thinking and stuff that should be common sense don't matter to black people. Y'all would rather make these rappers rich so they can buy chains and jewelry and cars and everything else, instead of buying houses that they can rent out to black people to make sure that black people not being discriminated against. But of course, y'all don't think that deep. which is why we in the situation that we in. So that's really the main reason, and that's why my biggest problem and why I made this video is because black people, y'all sit around, talk about drama, talk about celebrities, black women worried about love and hip hop, worried about baddies and all this. Why the fuck are you watching baddies and all of this when you getting evicted? When you don't have no savings account? Like it's just stupid to me. Like it just don't make no sense at all. When it comes to things. And then, like I said, this is on top of being number one in STDs, the having the most baby daddies, the least married. Like it's crazy. Everything that's negative, um, black people lead in. And it's like black people don't want to do nothing about this. Like I said, white people is not making y'all, is not jumping in these YN's body and making them kill another black person. White people is not making black women open up their legs to these YNs and these dudes that they know don't have a job or already have multiple baby mamas, etc. White people is not making black people be lazy and not get a job. Black people, I mean, white people and other races is not making black people support ignorance and these ignorant rappers that don't do nothing. Literally, y'all make these rappers rich and all they do in their songs is talk about how much money they got, this and that. Like that's why I don't support none of these rappers. I listen to you. I'm not going to no concert. I'm not buying nothing from you just so you can make music to stun on me. Like it's just stupid, and it's coming down to a challenge because I'm gonna end it with this. You notice, like I said before in my last video, Asian people, least the least single mother households, they value education the most, and now the stats say that they the least evicted, and that's why I keep saying about racism. If it's racism and it's white people, this white people that, why is Asians doing better than white people? Shouldn't why ain't white people being racist towards Asians? Asian, there's less Asians in America than there is black people, but yet Asians is doing better than us. How is that? Maybe it's because they Asian women not talking to the dummies and criminals and drug dealers like black women is. Maybe because Asians value being smart and intelligence. You don't get called a lame and outcasted because you a nerd in the Asian community. And I'm out.